Despite a disappointing 4-8 record in Season 10, spirits are high among the St. Louis fans leading up to the Season 11. The Gladiators boast a mostly returning starting lineup and should be competitive in a new-look Eastern Conference. On the other side, the Sioux Falls Sparrows are aiming to fly high this season, as they also return most of a roster that saw the Sparrows fall a few plays short of the Season 10 championship game. Two former Central Conference rivals will battle tonight in the Gateway City as the Sioux Falls Sparrows take on the St. Louis Gladiators in the final game before season kicks off for real next week. Good evening, I'm your play-by-play commentator, Michael Truillo. I'm joined in the booth today by Lavont Mercer. Lavont, good evening to you.
I'm doing all right. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Final game of preseason, and I'm sure everybody just wants the regular season to get here as fast as possible.
That's been the word around the league, is when can we get started already?
Well, we've got 4 more quarters of football to go before we actually get there. Coin toss is going on the field right now, and it looks like St. Louis will get the ball first. Their offense going to be in the spotlight first tonight. 11 minutes on the clock. The referee puts his whistle to his lips, and it is game on here in St. Louis from Budweiser Stadium, and from the 10 up to the 20, 25, running straight ahead. And up to the 30-yard line goes Duane Moore on kick return duty tonight. And here are your St. Louis starting offense. The quarterback returning for a second season is Dylan Asil. The running back is Denzel Diaz. The wide receiver is Nick Finch. The tight end is Cody Scott. First play from scrimmage, heavy formation with 2 to the left. And count 'em, 6 down linemen for the Sparrows. Asil winds and fires to the far side on first down. He'll pick up 4 yards. As stepping out of bounds is the aforementioned Nick Finch.
The midseason replacements in Finch, Asil, and some others have been key in their wins last season, the few of them that they've had, and Finch looks to feature.
Despite being 4-8 last season, the Gladiators were a win and some help away from playoffs, as Asil changes the play at the line with a receiver each side. And he'll take a short drop, fire out to the near side. That's the side left, and that's a pass caught by the tight end, Cody Scott, his first of the game. Nope, sorry, that's not Cody Scott. That was Leandro Short, the second wideout on the depth chart. They barely didn't get the first down. 3rd down and 1 now. As up the middle goes Diaz, and he's fighting for it. He didn't get there.
Like Sioux Falls would like to get their front 7 going right there. However, as a secondary member, Andrew Nyberg, a rookie.
As the Gladiators punter, Graham Northrup gets ready to punt it away. For the first time here, standing at his own 25, and the punt is away without much pressure on it. Grabbed at the 25, so completely flipping the field, but up to the 35 goes Riley Porter, wide receiver on kick return duty for the Sparrows tonight.
The Sparrows have been 4-0 in all their games against St. Louis in the past couple seasons.
They'll look to continue that tonight as Julian Tyree, the 6-year veteran, all those seasons with Sioux Falls under center. He drops back to pass, moves in the pocket, he goes down. First play from scrimmage, first sack. And that one comes the way of No Biggins, the defensive tackle.
Well, St. Louis has a very strong front 7 with Mandrake Perp and members such as Scott LaRue manning the front 4.
Tyree under center. He has to step up in the pocket, and he's sacked the second time. 2 plays in a row, 2 sacks for Mo Biggins. Let's run you through that St. Louis defense. The safeties are Freeman Peltier and the number 8 draft pick Ethan Kai. The cornerback is Colin Douglas. The linebacker is Ajamu Afalabi. The defensive tackle is Manny Eisenhower. The defensive ends are Scott LaRue and Mandrake Perp. And Tyree is going to go down again. 3 plays, 3 sacks.
It was important that I mentioned the front 7 because that so far has been the key to this drive.
Mandrake Perp getting it on the action that time. It's going to be 4th and 27, backed up all the way to their own 18-yard line. I didn't get time to run through the Sioux Falls offense because they're off the field in 3 plays. I'll get to that next time. Punt away by Max Mulholt from his own 5-yard line, and St. Louis is going to start from their own 50-yard line. Good return by Moore.
That's not something you often see out of Sioux Falls, and I don't think you'll be seeing that too often in this match.
While we have a chance, let's look at the Sioux Falls defense. The free safety is number 49, Chris Dodd. The strong safety is number 42, A.J. Levy. The corner is number 29, Andrew Nyberg. The linebackers are Alex Parker, Nick Fargo, and Tyrone McGee. Very strong linebacking core for the Sparrows this year, as Denzel Diaz loses a yard off the left side on 1st down.
They seem to be keeping the same style of defense that they ran last season, even with the departure of a couple of key members such as Pop Irvine and Okoye.
Running a lot of members down front, looking to stop the running attack. Here's another run for Diaz, and so far they're doing pretty well as he only grabs 3 yards there. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
Looks like a very defensive game so far.
With 2 teams as stacked on defense as these guys are, and I kind of expected that coming in, St. Louis only has 4 starters on their offense. Seal, Diaz, Finch, and Scott. And they're going to go 4 wide here. Seal over the middle, short to Diaz out of the backfield. He breaks 1 tackle, 2 tackles, he's still going. It took 3 Sparrows to bring him down, prominently among them the safety Chris Dodd. But it's a 12-yard pickup and a 1st down to the 37-yard line.
They did put a lot of investment in those few members on offense, however. We saw it there with Diaz breaking through a couple of tackles, gave him a larger contract in the offseason.
Looking to spread it around here on 1st and 10. 2 to the right, 1 to the left, and 2 in the backfield with Dylan Seal in the shotgun. Seal takes the snap, looks left, throws left to the far side. That pass is caught, and picking up 7 yards is Nick Finch again.
That's been what he does best, and we'll look at it here again. He always seems to get that second level of separation from his defender. Here he was matched up against Fargo, who is much slower than he is.
And with so many star players on offense, the Dylan Seal to Nick Finch connection is really going to have to work wonders for the Gladiators this season in order for them to succeed. Here's a handoff to Diaz, hitting the backfield. He carries his defender back to the line of scrimmage so he doesn't lose any yards. Good penetration by the Sparrows there.
That seems to be the case. As we see here, it's A.J. Levy in play again, and he's everywhere. He's one of the key figures for their defense and will feature greatly, both the blitz and in the pass coverage.
Second straight 3rd down faced by the St. Louis offense. And a short drop for Seal over the middle. That pass is caught to the 22-yard line. 1st down for the green and gold. This time it is Cody Scott picking up the yards out of the tight end slot.
They do have 2 tight ends, and they feel like they can get an advantage in the middle with both Swain and Scott.
Handoff, Diaz up the middle for 2 yards. And for the Sioux Falls defense, they got to use their loaded linebacking core. 3 big starters in Parker, Fargo, and McGee to really try and shut down this run game, and they've done well so far. Second down and 8. The 20-yard line, delayed handoff, and Diaz goes nowhere. Loses a yard back to the 21-yard line. Third down and 10 coming up.
And they were 5th in rushing defense last season. That's their new 99, McGee. And they seem to be everywhere you need to be in the run.
Rookie Tyrone McGee makes his first SFL tackle. High snap handled by a Seal. Short drop over the middle to Diaz, and he only picks up 2 yards. It'll be 4th down and 8, and a kick attempt upcoming.
One of the keys in a 3 linebacker defense is the middle of the field, the second level for both the pass and run play. So as we've seen there in this drive, both the run and the pass in the middle of the field has been completely stopped by the linebacking core.
Here comes the contract kicker, Matthew Martin, for St. Louis. Looking to put his team on the board. First, it is right down Main Street from 36 yards. So with 3:42 remaining in the first quarter, St. Louis 3, Sioux Falls nothing. This is the SFL preseason presented by APM Music on YouTube. Levant, we didn't see much from the Sioux Falls offense in their first possession. What do they need to do to get it going here?
I'm not very worried because they have a very potent offense of Warren and Harrelson and most of the remaining stars on offense, including adding a tight end and Craig Hearn. I'm quite sure they'll be quite fine.
As Porter takes this out to the 28-yard line. Since we didn't get to do it last time, let's officially run through the Sioux Falls offense. The quarterback is number 10, Julian Tyree. The running back is the 26th draft pick, number 28, Colin Hart. The wide receiver is number 11, Sean Harrelson. Number 15, A.J. Warren. And number 88, Riley Porter. Tyree, 1st and 10, and he gets 4 yards to the near side. There's Harrelson making his first catch. He'll have to be a major part of this offense going forward, you think?
Yes, a lot of their touchdowns last season in the passing game came from Harrelson and his Jets. He has speed to burn.
It's going to be an interesting matchup with Colin Douglas against Harrelson. I'm sure that's going to be a matchup a lot tonight. 2nd down and 6, 2 to the right, none to the left. And Colin Hart in the backfield. He'll get his first carry, and he'll be stopped for a loss of 4. The front 7 of St. Louis say get back to the original line of scrimmage.
And that's going to be a key matchup the whole game. Colin Hart replacing and leaving Robert Redford and having his same number. He has big shoes to fill.
Perfect read by the run defense that time as Freeman Peltier came up from the safety spot to make the tackle. 3rd down and 10 now as the Sparrows go 4 wide. Tyree to the far side. That pass is tipped and incomplete. It's Morant making that knockdown.
A returning role player in Morant. He has featured a couple of times with a lot of key pass deflections, as we've seen here.
Now, a second straight 3 and out now for Sioux Falls. First time that there's 3 sacks in a row. This time they completed a pass, but then went backwards on a play and had an incompletion. So not much shown from the North Dakota boys yet. As a punt from the 15-yard line by Mulholland returned up to the 38 of St. Louis. The Gladiators in their home green uniforms, gold helmets, gold pants with white trim tonight. And Sioux Falls in their white shirts, white pants with gray trim, and that electric yellow that they've become so well known for. 1st and 10 for the Gladiators. 2 to the right, none to the left. Heavy set with 2 tight ends. And Diaz in the backfield. A seal. Pumps. Throws over the middle. That pass is complete. Great leaping catch in between 2 defenders. Leonardo Short makes a big play.
The Seal was very unfazed by the change of personnel. As we see here, he knew that the defense was going to just drop back instead and still passed it on.
Duane Schindler in the chat says Sioux Falls is in South Dakota. Did I accidentally say it was in North Dakota? I apologize for that. I knew that. First down and 10 of the Sioux Falls 41, and down goes a Seal for the first sack of the day for the Sparrows. This time Johnny Summers gets in there and makes his presence felt.
Had a couple sacks last season himself. Don't worry about the fact that he's a non-contracted player. He can bring the hurt.
Marcellus Morton was in there too. Almost close enough. Maybe you'd give him a half sack. And on 2nd and 15, they will only rush 4. A Seal dropped it back to pass, fires short over the middle. That pass is caught. And Tito Moss, wide out, makes his first catch of the game, but only gets 6 yards back. And it's going to be 3rd down and 9.
Even with the playbook limitations of the preseason, it seems like Sioux Falls is mixing up their defensive packages. And
Goes short again. No, sorry, that's Scott. I'm going to do this all night.
well, we won't worry about that just yet. Let's look at this pass here as Seal throws it only where his receiver can get it. Inside shoulder.
I have mixed up Cody Scott and Leonardo Short twice tonight. I do apologize to both of those players. First down and 10 from just outside the red zone. Here's the first run of the drive, and Diaz breaks a tackle, gets 3 yards. Now they're officially inside the SFL presented by APM Music red zone for the first time today. Chris Dodd made the tackle on that last one. As the Gladiators look to push this lead to double digits. Offset eye, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. A Seal from his under center position. Takes the snap. 4-step drop pressure coming. He got the pass away, and it's caught! That is Cody Scott, 1st and goal to the 6-yard line. Unbelievable play there by a Seal.
The Seal last season was more of a scrambler, but this time he shows his pocket presence, waiting for his open man.
That's the end of the first quarter. It's low scoring, high defense, but St. Louis knocking on the door of the end zone. It'll be 1st and goal when we come back. This is the SFL preseason presented by APM Music on YouTube. Stay with us. We have flipped the field. 11 more minutes on the clock, and Denzel Diaz lost 4 yards on the play as Jacen McGee looks to make an impression both on the coaching staff and on Denzel Diaz's face.
Yes, he's replacing the outgoing Levant Irvine, who's now with Las Vegas, and so far he's been showing off.
2 big tackles in the opening quarter and change. 2nd down and goal from the 10-yard line. A Seal back to pass, steps up in the pocket, throws short across his body to Diaz, who's going to lose another yard back to the 11-yard line. And they got to the red zone, but now it's all going downhill for the Gladiators.
This seems to be the theme with Sioux Falls. They might bend, but they'll never break, and they start flocking to the ball.
Now they'll go 4 wide on 3rd down and goal. Look for the Seal to either Finch or Scott connection. A Seal stands in, throws short of the end zone, and it's dropped anyway. Moss was out there, and it went through his hands, and here comes Matthew Martin again.
There was just nowhere to go on that play. Everyone was covered, so he probably shouldn't have made that pass. It seemed forced, but luckily it only resulted in an incompletion.
Martin from chip shot range inside the 20 will try to make it 6-0 here. And it is right down Main Street with 9:54 to go in the first half. 6-0 St. Louis. They have had all of the ball control, with Sioux Falls only going 3 and out twice. And the Julian Tyree-led Sparrows offense is going to get another chance to try and get something going here. Boot on the way by Matthew Martin. Fielded inside the 10-yard line by Riley Porter. And he gets up to the 30. And this third straight drive, I'm going to ask you this question. What do Sioux Falls need to do to get their offense going?
They have a lot of pieces on offense that allow them to go vertical, so they might start passing the ball deep.
You mentioned the speed of Sean Harrelson. Rookie Riley Porter hasn't made a catch yet. A.J. Warren's also out there. Tyree, short drop, pressure coming, and the ball, they're going to say it's a forward pass. The ball is on the ground as Mandrake Perp got there and laid the hit.
It just seems like the front four for St. Louis is giving the offensive line fits. There's no time for Tyree to even throw the ball.
Something that they're going to have to work on in practice this week before week 1. First, new look for the Sparrows on 2nd and 10. I formation with a receiver each side. And a handoff straight up the middle and going nowhere is Colin Hart.
St. Louis has been just pressuring all game so far. They've been blitzing pretty heavily.
Now another 3rd down and long for the Sioux Falls offense. Tyree with 4 wide. And he's got good pass protection, but it breaks down. And he's sacked for the 4th time in this game.
I'm not sure if I'm okay with that little showboat at the end, but here's Mandrake Perp just absolutely shedding his man and taking him down.
You thought
seemed like Tyree walked into that for a second.
I thought the pass blocking was well set up there, but apparently not, and it's going to be 3 straight 3 and outs for the Sioux Falls Sparrows. And they're going to try and go for the block, and it's away by Max Mulder, who I am sure had not imagined I'd be calling his name nearly as much as I have been so far.
No, and I think part of this is just simply a playbook not being what Sioux Falls would normally operate out of, and causing them to just have issues on offense.
Yeah, you're not going to show your hand at a preseason game against the team you're not going to play in the regular season. It's in a different conference. Handoff, Diaz on 1st down, and he gets shut down for a loss of 2 yards. And neither team has really been able to run the ball so far.
Now, I think that's a credit to how both defenses stack up. And I'm going to, as this game goes on, you're going to see teams go more vertical.
2nd down and 12 now, a seal. They've loved this twin tight ends on each side package, and they're going to use it again, and he's going to go near side. That pass is complete. Nick Finch, 5 yards, 3rd down and 6 coming up.
He's been on a hot streak to Finch. 3 targets, 3 catches so far today, and also, alongside with that, when it comes to the 2 tight end package, they can keep a tight end back to block, and that might be what they are planning to do.
3rd down and 6 coming up. 4 wide. Nobody in the backfield alongside a seal who's in the shotgun. 3-step drop, rifle down the field. He's got a man out there. That pass is caught into Sioux Falls territory, down to their 27. Cody Scott, that's his 2nd big catch of the game.
Yeah, that's what you're looking to see out of one of these teams in this game, is them to start just changing it up a little bit, going deep, Sioux Falls didn't look like they expected it. Went to Scott, who's a massive target, just overshadowing the defense there.
Cody Scott, 6'5", 225. That is a big man out there making catches. First down and 10 into Sioux Falls territory at the 27. Check down goes to the far side on first down, and 5 yards picked up by Nick Finch.
And I'm going to start to see that Sioux Falls might adjust and start shading over Finch a little more, knowing that he and Scott have both been targeted a lot this game.
2nd and 5, I formation now coming out of the green and gold. Straight ahead to Diaz, and that's his best run of the game. He's got 4 yards. It'll make it a 3rd down and very manageable one.
That's what you want to see out of your halfback. That those sorts of 3 yards in a cloud of dirt runs work sometimes, but you got to break through into the secondary and get some larger runs out there.
Heavy set with no wideouts here on 3rd down and 1. Going to go to Denzel Diaz, and the pitch is there, and the 1st down and more out to the 15-yard line into the APM Music red zone. 2nd time in this 2nd quarter.
St. Louis. Oh, go ahead.
Chat out. Multi-Apples, Ray West, Duane Schindler, Jay Ringold, AJ Levy, Liam Crowder, and everybody else watching tonight. We're glad you are spending your Saturday evening here on the SFL Network as Diaz gets -1 yards off the left side.
And it just seems like when they get to the red zone, they start going the wrong way.
And I think for Diaz to have success, they really need to throw an entire play at him like they did on that 3rd down and 1 play, and they look like they're going to do here on I formation on 2nd down and 11, but Aseel's going to throw near side. That pass is complete. Nick Finch gets out of bounds. 3rd and 8 coming up.
Going with a very West Coast approach this game, going to the out routes, going crosses. Not going very deep, and that seems to be hurting them more in the red zone when they finally get there.
I mean, if you're within 20 yards, you should be taking shots at the end zone, especially if you've got an arm like Dylan Aseel has. We know he can zip that ball in there. Now 4 wide on 3rd and 8 at the 14, and there's a pass over the middle. Team route run to perfection. And Nick Finch picks up another catch, and it's a 1st and goal situation coming up.
Well, at this point, they're going to have no choice but to go end zone. They're too close.
I have been really impressed with Nick Finch so far. Aseel's been targeting him a lot, and he's made some big catches. 1st and goal, offset eye with no wide outs, and here's Diaz trying to punch it in, and he's going to go in and put it on the board. Denzel Diaz untouched.
And there we see a perfect example of when the defense overcommits to one side. They all went to the left or the right. My left, your right. And what happened here is he just found the only open hole. Wide, clear as day, no one there. And that's the problem of overcommitting on plays.
Now, Matthew Martin on for his first extra point of the game to put St. Louis up 13 with under 5 minutes to go in the first half. And that is good. So it is St. Louis 13, Sioux Falls nothing, 4:46 to go in the first half. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube. Do you want to be up to date with all the latest scores and stats from around the SFL? Then download the Score Stream app from the Google Play or iOS store and follow your favorite SFL teams today. Score Stream is the official live scoring app of the Simulation Football League. Another chance for Sioux Falls to get things going, and this time they will start from their own 27-yard line after a good open field tackle there by Levi Eugene, defensive tackle, running special teams duty. I'm going to flip the question around a little bit here. What have you liked so far about St. Louis's defense that is shutting down the Sioux Falls offense so far? We'll get to Levant after this first play, 4 wide. And Colin Hart in the backfield alongside Levy. Levy to pass. Pressure coming. He moves in the pocket, goes over the middle. Diving! Catch made right at the logo, and a penalty coming up. The catch was made by Turin James. And we'll see what the flag is.
Holding, number 74.
And it's going to come back. It's against the Sparrows.
And
Joey Holt, the tackle.
And this is going to lead into the point that you've asked me to make. This is what I've been looking at all game. Is the front seven has been absolutely disruptive, and has got into the heads and minds of the Sioux Falls Sparrows so far.
Now 1st and 20 as a big play gets negated. They go same formation. Let's see if they'll do a similar play. Tyree on a pitch to Colin Hart, bounces off a blocker. Actually gets 8 yards. It's going to be 2nd down and 12. Good run there for the rookie.
8 yards on the play.
Yes, it was, and it was particularly risky considering how the front seven has been all day. But if you can have them commit to you,
2nd and 11.
why not run a pitch?
I mean, and I think that's the way you're going to get around this front seven, is with some misdirection and some tricky plays, as this time Hart goes right up the middle, gets another 6 yards, and from 1st and 20, it's going to be 3rd down and a manageable 6.
And sometimes you can't always be too worried about, oh, well, I'm so far behind now, I got to start passing. I mean, sometimes the running game can be introduced to make things more manageable, and then you can bring the pass back.
And it's still a 2-score game, still in the first half, and with the offensive firepower we know Sioux Falls have, it's not inconceivable they can get back into this deep drop. And oh, down goes Tyree! Mandrake Perp, a hat trick of first half sacks for the big man.
Now, this is just getting absolutely ridiculous. Just look at how this this tackle cannot even hold on to him. He just bowled right over him and the quarterback and everyone.
That was Joey Holt again, the same player that committed the penalty that took away the 30-yard pass at the beginning of the drive, and another 3.5, and out this time. It's going to be field position from the St. Louis 39 with 2:34 to go in the first half.
You have a player down on the field.
That would be Takeshi Kitana, the corner. Or it's one more, the wide receiver, they're on the return.
And this is why I always look at players who don't do fair catches weird. Like, that's what happens when you don't fair catch. You know that the defense is closing in on you. Just wave. Just wave for it.
Another possession here for the St. Louis Gladiators. Handoff, Diaz, hit in the hole, but he pulls his defender for a yard. Alex Parker makes his 5th tackle of the game.
He and Fargo both returning. Fargo, a Pro Bowler last season, and Parker, who has been a key figure for the Sioux Falls Sparrows for several seasons, have been doing well all game. They're just, I don't know.
And another handoff to Diaz. This time he's got a bigger hole, and he'll get 5 yards up to the 45-yard line. Back on your point about the linebacking core, Alex Parker had 7 sacks as we reach the 2-minute warning in season 10. Nick Fargo similarly disruptive, and with a rookie Jacen McGee in there who's definitely going to learn from the 2 players next to him, this could be a formidable group come the middle of the season. Third down and 4 now. St. Louis hasn't really had a short drive since the first quarter. And the seal over the middle, that one's knocked away. Alex Parker getting the paw up there and batting it to the turf.
And that defense is part of why Sioux Falls has actually, in their entire history, has not had a losing season. They've gone even once, but they have not had a losing season since their inception.
They've made the playoffs a bunch too, including last year when they almost went to the championship game. A few plays here and there eventually sent Alaska to the game, which they won. And a immediate knockdown of Riley Porter at the 19-yard line. That's where Sioux Falls will get the ball, 1:48 to go in the first half.
And once again, I understand. If he would have fair catched, he would have been at the 14. But at the same time, you don't want to risk a receiver you're currently using in Riley Porter to getting hit like that.
I formation, a receiver each side on first down from their own 19-yard line. Sioux Falls, to my knowledge, has not had a first down in this game, and they might have almost gotten a pick there. Bo Knowles reaches out the hand and knocks it down.
Scott LaRue, the hurry, and this is what I'm talking about. Their front four has just been pushing around this O-line, left and right.
There has hardly been a play where Julian Tyree has not been on fire almost immediately. Second down and 10 coming up. Similar formation with the wide out each side. And here's a delayed handoff, and going backwards for a loss of 3 is Colin Hart.
Right into Eisenhower, too, has also been an absolute disruptive force for St. Louis, and was their sack leader last season.
Manny Eisenhower, 7 sacks in season 10, and now for the middle after scrambling, and only going to get about 7 of those yards back is the kick returner Riley Porter. 4th down and 7. Sioux Falls still has not made a first down.
I'm starting to think they're going to have to adjust using plays out of the shotgun, out of the pistol, out of use 7-step drops, use Hearn as a blocker. Whatever they need to do to stop this pass rush is things that they need to do.
It's going to be good field position with just over a minute to go, and the return, actually, now they've taken one more off of kick return duty, and the man they put on it now is slow to get up as Max Moholt pins them at their own 44.
And once again, it's just being stubborn and not deciding to just play it safe and wave your hand.
And this is the preseason, too. You got to think the coaches are talking to him on the sideline saying, hey, don't get hurt. We've got 12 games ahead of us we need you to be ready for. Offset eye on first down, 1:04 to go. Aseel's going to throw. Blitz coming. He picked up and he throws into triple coverage and the ball is knocked away.
There's a delayed blitz there. That sometimes we'll still hear Jay Ringgold. We'll point him out as well, who was ahead of the play, but the underthrown ball to short was also brought to you in part of by a delayed blitz.
That was the safety, Chris Dodd, coming in on the late blitz and forced the probably quicker than a Seal would have liked throw. 2nd down and 10 now from the 44. A minute flat remaining in the first half. A dominant first half for the Gladiators, mostly because of their defense, and then a short out route to Nick Finch is caught inbounds for 2 yards. St. Louis uses their 2nd timeout.
They're closing down on Finch a lot faster than they have all game, and they're starting to realize, I mean, if you're only throwing to Finch and Scott, and this is all you're doing, then we're going to force you to adjust.
Third down and 8 and 55 seconds left, and St. Louis might just want to try and set up for a field goal here, but they got to get 8 yards, and they're going to go short of the sticks to Finch, who falls down as the pass was behind him, so they're going to be short of the line to gain.
Now, likewise, on the other side of the field, you know the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's what they've been doing. And until Sioux Falls can stop what they've been doing, they're not going to stop.
Graham Northrup out on the field to punt. He'll punt from just inside his own 40. Looking to pin Sioux Falls deep with 45 seconds to go at the 10-yard line and out to the 14.
I think this was one of the few times all game I wasn't going to say that actually trying to go return it this time was a bad thing. He had, if he got past this one defender, a lot of room to run. He just couldn't do it this time.
That was a good open field tackle, and Sioux Falls may just want to throw in the towel on this first half and try and rekindle the spark of offense in the locker room. Tyree under center. Handoff, Hart gets back to the line of scrimmage, and maybe even a generous spot helped him do so.
I don't think they'll take too kindly to that. Sioux Falls is an organization that does not give up. They will continue to drive on. They might try to go deep here.
Offset I, 3 receivers on 2nd down and 10. 4-man front, and a pass to the near side is caught behind the defense. Big pickup by A.J. Warren. First time I've called his name. And the first down of the game by Sioux Falls is a big one. They're going to call a timeout with 3 seconds to go in the half, and they're going to have a chance at a Hail Mary from just inside their own half.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. They're not going to just sit down and take it. They never will. Other teams might decide, okay, let's just take it to the half. Not Sioux Falls. Never.
And you were completely right there, Levant. They did not decide to just pack it in and we'll go to the halftime. They've got 3 seconds to put something towards the end zone here, and they've got everybody out on the only 4 people out on the line for Julian Tyree to aim at. Tyree stands in. Plenty of time. Now he goes down. And with everybody out wide and not as big of a front line as you would have wanted, you kind of knew that was coming. The clock hits zeros on the first half of play. Gladiators 13, Sparrows nothing. It's been all St. Louis here under the arch at Budweiser Stadium. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Budweiser Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. The Gladiators on top of the Sparrows, 13-0. It's been a dominating performance by the green and gold so far. Michael Trillo, Levant Mercer in the booth to call this one. And as we get set for kickoff, Levant, thoughts on the first half and what both teams need to do to win this game going into the second.
St. Louis, what they'll need to do is finish off their drives of 7. Most of their drives have stalled and have only gotten field goals. They've had 1 touchdown so far today. For Sioux Falls, they're going to need to figure...
Like this. They're going to figure something out like this. And he can take it to the house. There goes Riley Porter to the St. Louis 29, where he's finally brought down. Well, that's a kick return.
And he could have busted one out earlier, and I had to stop so I could let you speak, because look at this. He has the vision, and once all the blocks were set, he was off to the races. And just like the rest of their receiving core, he's pretty quick too.
Let's see who finally brings him down. It was eventually Hootie Haskins, the backup safety, running on special teams that brought him down. And now, best field position of the game by far for Sioux Falls, set up by their special teams. And I'll let Levant finish his point after the first play here. As Tyree, pressure coming, hit as he throws, and it's over the middle. And Sean Harrelson just took a huge shot over the middle, but he held onto the ball and got 8 yards.
For Sioux Falls, they just don't need to be just don't let the first half bring them down. They have a potent offense. They have pieces on defense to hold. So all they need to do is get some momentum going.
2nd down and 2, and maybe a big special teams play like the rookie Porter just made is what they need, but here's Colin Hart going nowhere. Backwards 3 yards, 3rd down and 5 coming up.
And to continue as for what Sioux Falls needs to do, they need to do something about how they handle the front four for St. Louis. I've been saying it all game, and it hasn't changed.
And kind of hidden by the score bug there, Juan Moore, the kick returner, is going to be out for the rest of the game as Tyree goes down again. 6th sack of the game for the St. Louis defense. 4th down and 7 coming up.
And it keeps coming up because it continues to happen.
But a chance for points for, I was going to say the yellow and black, but they're kind of more yellow and gray today. Their kicker is Sammy Prefontaine, and he'll have a chance from just over 40 yards. The hold is good. The kick is all the way, and it is right down Main Street. Neither kicker has missed yet. From 42, Prefontaine gets the Sparrows on the board. It's 13-3. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube.
It'll be interesting to see if St. Louis is able to actually capitulate a drive with 7 points.
Signs of life from Sioux Falls, not from their offense per se, but from their special teams. I want to continue to highlight Riley Porter, rookie, making a huge return to set up that field goal. And one more is actually back in the game. I don't know. He must have been okay enough to return kicks, and he takes it up to the 31-yard line.
Some players are able to really talk their way back into situations. He's pretty tough.
1st down and 10 for St. Louis from their own 31-yard line. A receiver each side, a seal under center, a seal throws quick out to the near side. That pass is complete. That's Cody Scott on the catch, 5-yard pickup, and they'll do it again on 2nd and 5.
Another key for St. Louis that I'm noticing is they're going to have to, while it does work to go to these same targets that they have been, introduce some of the other pieces of their offense.
2nd down and 5. Offset eye behind a seal. Here's Diaz up the middle. He's got a hole, but it closed up quickly. And only 3 yards as Lennox Sanders closed that hole pretty quick.
That's something about Sioux Falls speed. They're able to close down quickly. If a hole is made, it gets stopped.
They're going to go full-on I formation here on 3rd and 2, giving Denzel Diaz a chance to win it with the pitch, and he's going to be stopped well short with a loss of 3, and punt coming up for the Gladiators.
And this is the sort of thing that Sioux Falls needs to start doing, is start just absolutely putting an end to drives and getting the ball back.
Rookie Andrew Nyberg came up and made that tackle behind the line. And now Graham Northrup on to punt for the 2nd drive in a row. And he gets it away from his own 25-yard line. Picked up at the 25 of Sioux Falls by Riley Porter. Trying to rekindle the spark he found on his last return, but he only picks it up to the 31.
I don't know what he was trying to truck there. I mean, he lowered his shoulder anticipating someone, but no one was there.
He had a big run earlier, and he was like, hey, this is my chance to kind of put the team on my back, you know, dream big in your first game. And, you know, sometimes that happens. Colin Hart now trying to put the team on his back. Off the right side, there he goes! Inside Sioux Falls territory all the way to the 41, inside St. Louis territory. Forgive me, but that's a big run out of the rookie.
And we'll look at this again. Who needs Redford? We'll keep his number and get someone. Look at this. Absolute destruction, demolition. Blah! Get out of here.
He put Freeman Peltier on the ground. Peltier, it's his 6th season. And he got run to the ground by the rookie. 1st and 10. Individual players stepping up, starting to step up now for the Sparrows. And well, this time Colin Hart got put to the ground pretty easily by Tony Anderson.
Well, you don't really want to be embarrassed twice now, do you? I mean, you gotta put the rookie in his place sometimes.
2nd and 10. Ball at the 20 yard.
2nd down and 10 now, and the player that really needs to get going is Julian Tyree. Hasn't done much because there's been a lot of pressure in his face all the time, and there's going to be more here as he fails to step up and goes down. Sack number 7.
Yeah. And here we have LaRue just absolutely mocking Tyree after falling himself. But look at this. Absolutely no coverage again on him. The whole game for the O-line has just been, we're going to let you through. Part the seas every time. And that's not how you should play.
There's not much you can say. I mean, that's what's happening. Tyree on 3rd and 15 has to move in the pocket, but fires a strike. 1st down inside the 30. Has taken the hit was Riley Porter, but it's all worth it for a 1st down.
And here's the thing about Julian Tyree. When you're 4th all time, behind Dasso and ahead of Wilson, you know that no matter how many times you get hit, you're going to get chances like those.
And he's going to take a short drop this time. This time the coverage is good, but he throws double coverage and it's almost picked off. And maybe Tyree's lucky that one hit the turf.
Well, I guess what they're adjusting for now is throwing it faster, throwing it sooner. But sometimes that leads to errant throws.
2nd and 10.
This has been probably the best drive of the game. Well, definitely the best drive of the game for the Sioux Falls offense. Let's see if they can cap it with some points. 2nd down and 10. The 29-yard line. Offset eye, 3 receivers. Tyree under center. A 4-man front, a dangerous 4-man front, and here they come. Tyree throws short, tipped to the air and picked off! That's a takeaway by the Gladiators. And a dangerous drive is stopped. It's Tony Anderson.
And here we have just a perfect read, a tip drill, and just sometimes you can't account for where the ball bounces, but you can always account for where you are on the field. And as a defensive player, you need to know where you are, and he knew.
What a gut punch is that to the Sparrows offense. You had a good drive going, and then something like that happens. It's not really your fault. Got a bad bounce, and it's back in the hands of St. Louis as a seal goes over the middle and gets 6 yards by hitting Nick Finch again.
And I guess, you know, that happens sometimes when you don't have a good grip on the ball. The ball comes your way, it comes a little too quick. You try to close in on it, and you just lose your grip on it, and then that's what happens.
Also want to mention the linebacker Ajamu Afalabi for the Gladiators made the tip as Diaz goes nowhere to be 3rd down and 4. Ajamu Afalabi's had an interesting SFL story. This is his 4th season in the league. He has played on 4 different teams. Mexico City, Sioux Falls, Chicago, and now St. Louis. So facing off against his former team today. as they jump off sides. It's going to be a free play for the Gladiators as it's caught, and down the field goes Cody Scott, breaking tackles, and down to the, well, inside the 30 of Sioux Falls, and this is definitely going to be declined.
Number 90, defense.
Yeah, it was always going to be declined when you have a big play happening like that. Hope I get another chance to look at it.
Yeah, me too. Here we go. How did Cody Scott pick that one out of the air?
Well, that's what happens when the defense overcommits to the ball. As you see, everyone was very well ahead of the play, and they tried to make a play on the ball early. And what happens when you jump early, you get beat if you miss, and he missed.
Now first down and 10 inside Sioux Falls territory at the 27 for the Gladiators. Offset eye, 3 receivers. A seal under center. Here's Diaz off the left side. He's got room to run. A tackle to break it. He didn't break it. He got a first down to the 14 inside the SFL presented by APM Music Red Zone, but he was one broken tackle away from the house.
And this is the sort of offensive pressure that St. Louis needs to have. They've been having a couple of drives go to the red zone and not go anywhere. As we see this run again, he had all his blocks set. He only had one man to beat, but it's kind of hard to get around Dodd.
Chris Dodd with a touchdown saving tackle. Dodd, his 3rd season in Sioux Falls, had 7 interceptions last year. Another handoff. Diaz up the middle. He'll pick up 3. Yes, it was eventually the linebacking core that got to him.
Now, while Diaz has not had much to say all game, this drive has been the leading producer of his yards.
Shout out to Amon Rice, Scott LaRue, AJ Levy, Christian Punt, Colin Northrup, SFL Director of Player Personnel, and everybody else watching tonight as a seal back to pass, checks it down to the far side and driven out of bounds with no pickup. And it'll be 3rd down and 7.
I think that's everyone's favorite name, Truckee Steck.
Truckee Steck, the fullback, is back again, and he makes a catch, but doesn't get any yards for it. 3rd down and 7 from the 11. St. Louis got to be thinking end zone here. A seal with 4 wide. A seal looking downfield. He gets a short pass to Diaz out of the backfield and only picks up 2 yards. 4th down and 5 from inside the 10-yard line for what must be the 3rd time in this ballgame.
And it's rather unfortunate. I've been saying so much about this drive being the one, and it ended up being the same.
And if you're Denzel Diaz, I know you're the 3rd or 4th choice on that play, but it's 3rd down. At least run a route that takes you to the end zone, right?
Well, I mean, if you're to check down, you're to check down on that play. If you try to run a different route just because you want to be the hero, you're going to hear it on the sidelines, and he probably would have put them in danger had he done so.
Matthew Martin puts his 4th conversion of the game right down Main Street, and it's 16-3 St. Louis with 2 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the 3rd. It's looked better from Sioux Falls in this second half, but they haven't capped it off with a touchdown yet. Here is Riley Porter, and he takes it up to the 26-yard line.
And the point I would like to bring up once again is, up to this point, so far, they have never lost to St. Louis.
This won't go on the stat sheet even if it does come out in St. Louis's favor because it is the preseason. But a moral victory for the Gladiators might be huge going into a season. You got to think it's make or break for the Green and Gold. We'll get back to that in a minute as a near side pickup of 6 yards to Harrelson.
6 yards on the play.
St. Louis has been in the league 4 or 5 seasons now. They haven't made the playoffs to my knowledge. And they've got a core of players this year that looks like they can make a run. They have moved to the Eastern Conference, which also includes Baltimore, Carolina, Chicago, Indianapolis, London, and Queen City. And on 2nd down and 4, Tyree moves to the pocket, floats one out there. That pass is caught. Big pick up there by Craig Hearn on the tight end. And you've mentioned him all game. He finally picks up a catch and makes it all the way out to midfield.
This is what they want to see. Earlier in their earlier iterations, they used to have a tight end, and this is what they want to see out of one. Last season they went without, and I think he'll add an added element, as we see here, with power and finesse both, to make himself also a prime feature of this offense.
1st down at midfield for Sioux Falls. Offense finally trying to get back in this game. Here's Colin Hart up the middle, breaking 1-2 tackles and picking up a hard-earned 3 yards before he's brought down by Peltier.
Now, while that was only a 3-yard play, I want you to note the adjustment made on this play. There was a shifting guard, right? As the guard shifts, and if you stay behind your blocks, or you get out of block, you can shift out the defense. I'll get back to this in a second.
Offset eye, 2nd down and 7. Tyree changes the play at the line. It'll go for a short drop. Flare out to the far side. Catch is made there for a gain of 3. But A.J. Warren is put down immediately after he made the catch by Tony Anderson.
If you're on the D-line and you're trying to pass rush, right? When a guard pulls, you're already overcommitted. So on a run like that, it really helps out.
High formation on 3rd down and 3. Tyree moves to the pocket, has a man wide open over the middle of the field, and a 1st down into deep St. Louis territory. That time Ashley Anderson, the fullback, makes the catch out of the backfield.
And you know, while that play was very good, I think they had another receiver open. I know I saw him, but hey, these 1st downs no matter what.
3/4 down, 11 minutes of play to go. Sioux Falls trying to fight their way out of a 16-3 deficit. Gladiators still on top. Put your 4s up, we're going to the 4th quarter. Colin Hart hasn't had much love tonight against the front 7 of the Gladiators, only 33 yards. 1st down and 10, offset up. And a pressure comes, and it's a check down to Anderson. And Anderson loses 2 off of the back of a Scott LaRue tackle.
Yeah, you never really want to see your check down being the only option over and over again. It means the coverage has been too stark.
A receiver each side and 1 in the backfield. 3-step drop, floats it out to the far side. Harrelson makes the catch, steps out of bounds after a gain of 5. 3rd down and 7 coming up. And we've seen this from both teams tonight, but especially highlighted on the Sioux Falls side, that they're putting themselves in 3rd and long holes. Like this one, 3rd and 7, 4 wide. Julian Tyree in the shotgun. And Tyree steps up, has a man in his face. He sheds 1 tackle, and he's going to go down with the 2nd one. The offensive line went out to lunch. Can you say ocho number of sacks for the St. Louis defense tonight?
They're probably gonna just stop feeding them lunch. Find some way to punish this line, because they're doing. Look at this, nowhere. He's doing everything he can to avoid that sack, and they let him down time and again.
He made Scott LaRue, who was the 1st man back there, look absolutely ridiculous by shedding that tackle, but he couldn't get past the 2nd and 3rd men back. The sack was credited to Mo Biggins. And a great punt down at the 1-yard line. Max Moholt has quietly had himself a fantastic game.
He has, and also let's give credit to the Gunners on that play. It may have looked silly, all the stuff that they were doing to keep it on the 1. But hey, whatever works, works.
Now St. Louis in the shadow of their own end zone, 1-yard line. Green and gold trying to get out and get into the field, and Diaz takes a dangerous handoff in his own end zone, but he breaks 5 yards up to the 6.
In this situation, this is what you want your running backs to do. You want to get bailed out by them. You try to pass back there, you put yourself at risk for safety. You try to leave that for third down. So your running backs really got to bail you out here.
And he did. He got him some separation. Now offset eye on a heavy set. 2nd down and 5. Just over 9 minutes to go in the ball game. 16-3. St. Louis lead. Delayed handoff to Diaz, and he's going to lose a couple more of those yards that he gained on 1st down.
And going back to your earlier point about all these 3rd and mediums, 3rd and longs, let's give some credit to the defense. I mean, if the running game isn't working, you're not going to get yourself in those short situations.
Nick Fargo made the tackle for loss on the last play. Now 4 wide on 3rd and 7. A Seal's going to be handing it off, and they weren't expecting it, but he ran into his own blocker. He had a wide open path to a 1st down, and Denzel Diaz ran into his own blocker.
Yeah, these are things that happen sometimes. Quarterbacks do too. What happens? You're in the flow of your own movement, and sometimes you lose track of where everyone else is. You kind of bump into them. Luckily, he didn't lose the football.
Now, Graham Northrup putting from the back of his own end zone. It's not a great punt. Great field position for Sioux Falls from the St. Louis 36. And if they're going to get back into this ball game, this is the perfect time to do it.
You can't generate much power being back there. You usually have 10 more yards of separation from the snap to be able to step up into the punt. You can't step up into the punt when what's right behind you is the goalpost.
I formation on 1st down for Sioux Falls in the white, gray, and highlighter yellow. Pitch goes backwards. Loss of 4, and Colin Hart. It's been a tough rookie ride for him in his 1st game.
And on that play, you should have just done. The defense is heavily committed on that side. Do anything else.
Now 2nd down and 14, and passing situations from here on in for the Sparrows as Tyree, a diving grab in the middle of the field. Great job by A.J. Warren. And it's going to be 3rd down and 5, pickup of 9 yards there.
And that's the talent these receivers, both Warren and Harrelson, have. They're able to outstretch any defense with their athleticism.
3rd down and 5, and this is manageable for an offense that can produce plays like we saw in the last one. Low snap, Tyree handles it. He had tried to sidearm it, and the ball popped loose as he got hit. Eisenhower was the first man there. 4th down and 5 coming up, and here comes the kicker, Sammy Prefontaine.
And once again, I'm at the point where you're probably going to just have to start getting plays off the shotgun. 5-step drops, 7-step drops. Have some separation from your line because they're not helping you right now.
This is going to be quite a long attempt for Prefontaine. And the kick is away, and it is good. 47 yards. And Sammy Prefontaine has all 6 of Sioux Falls' points tonight.
Let's look at Prefontaine again, a returning non-contract kicker. He's actually been one of the few non-contract kickers that have a good percentage.
Now it's a 10-point deficit with 6:51 to go, and if you can get a quick turnover here, maybe make the Gladiators go 3 and out, it's not beyond possibility for a Sioux Falls comeback with a quick touchdown, but here goes Juan Moore out to the 32-yard line. I thought he was going to get farther than he did.
No, but the defense, when you assist in a tackle like that, you want to also make sure you drive your man to the turf. You want to shift them away from the outside, and they did that.
1st and 10 now. Offset eye, a seal under center, and a receiver each side. A seal handoff, Diaz right side. Oh, he swims through a hole, and he's got a first down. Up towards midfield to the 46-yard line.
And here we just have when everyone around you isn't helping you out, you got to do it yourself. And he saw the only gap that was available to see and just burst through.
Big pickup there, 15 yards and a first down to the 46. Trips topside. First time we've seen a 3 wide receiver formation from St. Louis tonight, and they'll pitch that way with blocking wide receivers, and it works well for them as they get 4 yards on first down.
Like I said before, at this point he's at the point of the game where he has to help himself, and he's very much doing that now.
That was a well-designed play. Put trips to one side as 3 blockers, then pitch that direction. Second down and 6. Now they'll go 2 receivers left, tight end to the right, and 2 in the backfield. Diaz for the 3rd straight time. He almost got through, but he was dragged down from behind. And we got 4 on that play. 3rd down and 2 coming up.
Now this is very dangerous, because if the running game starts to work for the team in the lead now, they've regained control of the clock.
And neither team's running game has really worked at all in this ball game. But Diaz may be preying on some tired legs out there for Sioux Falls. I formation, 3rd down and 2. Here he is again, trying to pick up another first down, and he will! Inside Sioux Falls territory to the 41.
And now, watch out, because if they gain control of this clock, Sioux Falls isn't going to have enough opportunities remaining.
Well, they could run the clock almost all the way down on this drive. They keep grabbing first downs, and Denzel Diaz is going to get the ball again and go backwards. Great open field tackle in the hole there by Parker.
And Parker's aware of the things that are going on. I'm sure Levi's in his ear. I'm sure Levy's in his ear. I'm sure Dodd's in his ear saying, "Get that man," and he has, and he needs to continue.
Real heavy set here on 2nd down and 11, offset eye, and everybody on the for the team leading 16-6 here at home in the preseason. So let the clock run all the way down. Diaz gets the snap, and there was room up the middle, but pressure off the edge from A.J. Levy meant that one only got 1 yard.
And that's what a veteran presence at safety does. He notices what's happening, and he steps up and he makes a play. He stops it from happening. That's what you're supposed to do as a veteran. Notice what's happening and make the adjustment yourself.
Now for the first time in this drive, we've really got a passing situation for St. Louis. 3rd down and 10. Looks like heavy pressure set up on the defensive side for the Sparrows, and then it's going to be another pitch, and they read that one all the way. Diaz lost 4, and it's out of field goal range by about 10 yards, I'd say.
And that is crucial for Sioux Falls to stop the bleeding, because they were letting a lot of these runs start eating at this clock. They lost 2-3 minutes doing this, but luckily they stopped the drive short and they have a couple minutes to work with.
It might be pinned deep here as Graham Northrup's going to punt from just about the 45-yard line. That was not the best snap, and he barely got the punt off before the coverage got to him. Bounces at the 10, down to the 5, and down to the 5-yard lines where they'll spot it. Great punt coverage, and the up man was Brad Schumann.
This is crunch time now for Sioux Falls. They need a touchdown and a field goal.
That was Haskins, the up man, not Schumann. I mistook 74 for 47. And now from his own end zone, Tyree steps up and he went down. He got the ball out of his hands. We'll say it's an incomplete pass. And this is the danger when you're being pressured on every play and you're in the shadow of your own end zone.
It is, but let's give it up to Tyree, who at least managed the pressure well this time, because he could have had a safety if he would have held the ball longer.
He's going to have to throw again. Trips right one to the left. 2nd down and 10. He's going to throw. Steps up. He checks it down to Colin Hart, who gains 2 yards. It's going to be 3rd and 8 from their own 7.
Yeah, but unlike St. Louis, it looks like we have a player down on the field.
Mo Biggins, who's been one of the better players for the Gladiators tonight. He got himself a couple of sacks and pressure on almost every offensive play. He almost had the... looks like he was chasing after the receiver, maybe to potentially make a play, and he got pushed to the ground, and we'll see how his condition is as he's going to go off. And with 2 minutes and 34 seconds left, it's not with outside the lines of reason to just sit him for the rest of the game. 3rd down and 8, big play here for Sioux Falls. Tyree, back to pass, and he got hit again. He is going to be bruised. He's going to feel them all tomorrow. And hey, one of your big linemen goes out. Who's going to step up but Scott LaRue?
And yeah, and I was going to say the same thing. Just because one goes down does not mean that you don't continue to have that pressure. You have Perp, you have LaRue. Hell, even Adjulami can come in.
Game riding on this one right here. 4th down and 8 from inside their own 10. Tyree sacked in the end zone. There's the safety. And this ball game is over.
Ooh. And speaking of LaRue again, guess who it is? Get punched in. Sealed the game.
Scott LaRue in there. Also, Levi Eugene, defensive tackle in there. And we'll grab half a sack for him as well. And it's going to be good field position for the Gladiators. Just over 2 minutes to go. Now up by 12. And a good move out there as Jamu Afalabi, the linebacker, actually returned that kick.
That is particularly interesting. I don't know why you would have him there, but here's the key about the safety that's the worst. Is that you have to give it back to the team that committed it. I mean, give it the ball back to the team that made it happen.
And they're just going to look to run out the clock with Denzel Diaz, who's been very good in this 4th quarter. And I almost did the commentator curse thing right there, but he was able to fight his way back to the line of scrimmage and even fall forward for a yard.
Irene, at this point, what you're just trying to do is close the game out and milk the clock. Get into victory formation and go home.
It's going to go to the 2-minute warning, and there it is. 2 minutes to go, 12-point game. St. Louis dominating despite the low-scoring ball game. This is the SFL preseason presented by APM Music. The final SFL preseason game before we kick it off for real live from the SFL convention next weekend. It's only 6 days away. Another pitch to Diaz, and he's going to break through 1 tackle and gain 2 more yards. First time out by Sioux Falls. Levon, I know you're going to be at the convention, and you excited?
Yes, I am. I normally don't go out for many social events, but I'm happy to be able to meet most of you out there.
A great event out there in Dallas as Diaz loses a yard. It's going to be, they're going to get the ball back, and they're going to get it back with 1 timeout in a minute, let's say a minute and a half. But down by 2 scores, I don't know if you can do much with that. Quickly, I'm going to run you through all of the action that has occurred over the preseason since last Sunday. Alaska beat New Orleans 17-14. Las Vegas beat Tulsa 35-21. Carolina beat Dallas 20-10. London beat Denver 37-7. Indianapolis beat Mexico City 27-24 in double overtime. And then on July 4th, there were more fireworks on the field than in the air as Queen City beat Tallahassee 55-52 in overtime. On Thursday, Atlanta beat Baltimore 16-10. San Francisco beat Oklahoma City 23-13. Houston beat Chicago 13-7. And then today, London beat Vancouver 17-10. And then this game is just about to wrap up. 1st and 10 for the Sparrows from their own 24-yard line. High snap handled by Tyree over the middle. Left pass is complete and a great shoulder tackle. Open field. 122-14. And a 4-wide set now for Tyree. Tyree just dumps it over the middle and actually picking up the first down. Good running after the catch by Riley Porter. He's been a bright spot for Sioux Falls tonight with his kick returning and receiving abilities. Another quick shot over the middle. That pass finds Craig Hearn, the tight end. They're going to go up tempo. 2nd down and 2, 1:05 to go and counting. Sioux Falls still with a timeout. Tyree, oh no, he's going to go down again. And Mo Bickens is not going to return.
And this has just been what's been going on all game. Step back, drop, look, ground.
I think they're in double-digit sacks now. It's 10 for the Gladiators. And now 3rd down and 9. Empty backfield, 4 wide. And there they come again! And down goes Tyree again. 4th down and 16. Scott LaRue is having himself a day. And now with 43 seconds to go, it's another pressure, and this ball is on the turf as Levi Eugene got there, and that will be all she wrote for this one.
As many times, and as unfortunate as that play was because he had an open man, it's just as many times as they've dropped back all game, they've just not been able to stop the rush, and that's what's killed them.
39 seconds to go, and Sioux Falls out of timeouts. This will do it. We get to the favorite position in the game of football, the victory formation for the home team. Levon, as we count down to the end of this game, give me something that each of these teams can improve on going into week 1.
Well, for Sioux Falls, I know their playbook, when it's installed, is going to rectify most of the issues that they're having with the O-line. They're going to be more vertical, so I know that's probably what's going to happen. For St. Louis, they look pretty good. They just need to capitulate their drives, finish them out, and get more points on the board. Not every game's going to be like this.
As we said earlier, there's going to be some teams that can really put some points on the board in that Eastern Conference, and that is the final preseason game. Has hit triple zeros. The coaches shake hands, and it's an 18-6 win for the for the St. Louis Gladiators, their first ever win, even though this one doesn't officially count, over the Sioux Falls Sparrows. Final stats on your screen. And for Mike Daggs and Andy Hamilton behind the scenes tonight, and my broadcast partner, Levant Mercer, I have been your play-by-play commentator, Michael, saying so long from Budweiser Stadium, and we'll see you next time for the start of Season 11.